As an American citizen, I find it truly disgusting that my country goes 40 steps forward just for people like the governor in Florida to take us 30 steps backwards. Don't say gay, Bill. Are you serious? Don't talk about what I went through and what my fellow gay LGBTQ plus community went through to get me here. Are you serious right now? Is the government sleeping? Why are they letting you do this? Isn't this the free country, the free world, freedom of speech? Don't say gay. That goes against freedom of speech. You cannot sit here and say being gay is not a choice when you're not gay. You don't know that. Now you want to make learning about our history illegal? You are literally making it harder for children to feel comfortable because conservative parents feel like it's not okay. They're not gay. It's not their place to talk about it. Stop being concerned with what other people like. This is disgusting.
All right, guys, so leftists are freaking out and melting down over what is going on in Florida again and the laws that Ron DeSantis and the Republican legislature are passing. This time, they're melting down over the so-called Don't Say Gay bill that Ron DeSantis has signaled support for. Now, the Don't Say Gay bill is basically a bill designed to discourage school districts from encouraging teachers to have inappropriate discussions about sex and gender with students in primary school, right? You know, the things that I've highlighted on my channel so much, right? These teachers who come in with this agenda to talk about gender and sexual identity rather than teach about reading, writing, math, you know, the things that they're actually being paid to do, right? Those things that I've talked about so much. Okay, yeah, Ron DeSantis is saying, no. We have to do something about this, okay? And this bill, again, is designed to discourage school districts from encouraging their teachers to talk about this stuff. And it also allows parents to sue school districts whose teachers they believe have broken this law, okay? And again, the left is freaking out about this, and they're saying all types of things. Kind of like what that guy was saying at the beginning of the video. That left is breaking down, right? Talking about this is, you know, anti-free speech and such and such and such and such, okay? And I'm like, okay, well, listen, if you want to make the free speech argument, that's fine. I don't think this is necessarily about free speech because, first and foremost, teachers as government employees just can't come to school and say anything they want, right? They can't do that. That's been established. That's why teachers can't come and initiate prayer in school, right? That's why they can't force students to pray in school. That's why they can't talk about religion in school. Okay? So if you want to make a free speech argument, you want to have that argument, cool. Let's have a free speech argument. Because if you want teachers to be able to say and do whatever they want, all right, cool. Let's bring prayer back in school. Right? Let's bring prayer back in school, which this person have no problem with, right? Considering how they're wearing a cross, right, in this video, which indicates they're Christian. But I have some questions because I wonder if they have actually read Leviticus. Again, I'm just wondering, right? I got some questions, but I'm just saying, if you want teachers to have absolute free speech in school, then you have to be cool with teachers coming in and saying Jesus is Lord and that Muhammad is the greatest prophet and all that other stuff, right? Pushing religious ideology in school, right? That's what you have to be okay with, right? So if you're not okay with that, then why would you be okay with teachers coming to school pushing gender ideology and sexual orientation ideology in school, in primary school, right? So again, this isn't about free speech, right? This is about what is the appropriate topics that teachers should be discussing with kids in school, right? And if kids want to learn about gender studies, women's studies, and all that other stuff, cool, go learn about it in college, right? I have absolutely no issues with that if you want to learn about it in college, even though I don't think it should be taxpayer funded, right? Like some of these colleges are that teach this stuff. But hey, they can go learn about it in college, okay? And that will probably be the appropriate setting for them to learn about it, okay? But not in primary school, especially when a lot of these kids are graduating, not being able to read, write, or do math, right? They don't even know the basics of what allows them to function in society. But for whatever reason, these people want to have conversations about race, sex, and gender. Again, it blows my mind. But let's actually read about, you know, what's in this bill, and the Biden administration freaking out and slamming Ron DeSantis over supporting this bill. But before we get into that, I just want to let you guys know, if you like what I do, right, if you like my channel, you can support using the links in the description below, right? You can support the Patreon, you can support the PayPal, you can support the merch. There are multiple ways to support my channel if you would like to do so. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this so-called Don't Say Gay bill and the leftist outrage over this. President Biden on Tuesday offered support to LGBTQ students while speaking out against a Florida bill that would ban the discussion of sexual orientation and gender identity in the state's public schools. Quote, I want every member of the LGBTQI plus community, especially the kids who will be impacted by this hateful bill, to know that you are loved and accepted just as you are, Biden tweeted. Okay, so again, allegedly, according to Biden, it is hateful to basically discourage teachers from having discussions about gender ideology and sexual orientation when they should be actually teaching about reading, writing, and math. Okay, according to the Democrat Party, quote, I have your back and my administration will continue to fight for the protections and the safety you deserve, he added. The legislation, which critics have dubbed the Don't Say Gay bill, passed the state Senate Education Committee along party lines Tuesday. A near identical version was first proposed nearly a month ago in the Florida House of Representatives. The bill will restrict school districts from encouraging discussions about sexual orientation or gender identity in primary grade schools or in a manner that is not age appropriate or developmentally appropriate for students. Though the text fails to define what would be age appropriate or developmentally appropriate for the topics. Advancement of the bill comes a day after Governor Ron DeSantis signaled his support for the legislation, telling reporters on Monday that it was entirely inappropriate for teachers to be talking about topics like sexual orientation and gender identity with students. Dude, he's 100% correct. He's 100% correct because this stuff, again, it's not like it's restricted to high school. They're talking about this stuff with preschool students, guys. Students as young as 5 years old, they're having these conversations with. You know why? Because that's who they're targeting, right? That's who a lot of these woke activist teachers are targeting. They're trying to basically get to these students as young as possible, right? That's what they're doing, okay? Students need to be teaching kids to read, to write. DeSantis said during a press conference, they need to teach them science history. The governor cited alleged examples of teachers telling students not to worry about picking their gender and suggested educators were hiding classroom materials from parents. Opponents of the bill worry it would cause gay, lesbian, and transgender children to be even further marginalized. They also fear the legislation could prevent educators from having classroom discussions about the topics and might erase LGBTQ history from the statewide curriculum. The same fear-mongering they do about the banning of critical race theory in school, right? They try to say, oh, they're trying to ban teaching slavery, right? When nobody has come out and said we shouldn't teach slavery. Okay, but out of the same breath, they'll say, well, teaching about slavery is not critical race theory. But they're trying to ban critical race theory, which equals banning slavery, right? These people they're clowns, man. They really are. Last month, Chasten Buttigieg, a former teacher who is the husband of Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, said the bill would, quote, kill kids, citing a Trevor Project survey of LGBTQ teens and young adults that found that 42% said they seriously considered suicide last year. So again, here we go. Right, with the extremist rhetoric here, saying that Ron DeSantis and the Florida Republican legislature, they're trying to kill kids because they don't want teachers teaching about gender ideology and sexual orientation in school. Again, this is ridiculous. Proponents of the bill, however, argue that the bill is targeting school districts, not teachers, which means educators would still be allowed to have such conversations if they came up. Last month, Republican Representative Joe Hardin, who introduced the bill, said the legislation wouldn't stop students from talking about queer family members, nor would teachers be barred from teaching lessons on queer history, according to WFLA-TV. Yeah, what it sounds like to me is what this bill would do is that it would discourage teachers from basically having conversations like, hey guys, let's just talk about, your sexuality or your gender identity without it actually being educational in nature, right? Or pushing kids to have discussions that aren't necessarily related to what's in the curriculum, right? What they're actually supposed to be learning about. Okay, I think that's kind of what it is. Okay, I don't have a problem with kids learning about, queer history or whatever, right? I have no issues with that. I have no issues with kids talking about, family members who, may be, LGBTQ or whatever. I have no issues with that. I think my issue is when you have teachers that are coming in here and enforcing this stuff down children's throats in an attempt to try to influence a child's gender identity or sexual orientation. I think that's my real issue here. The White House officially denounced the bill Tuesday, a rare move that the White House press secretary Jen Psaki told reporters was taken to make a statement. Quote, today, conservative politicians in Florida advanced legislation designed to attack LGBTQI plus kids instead of making growing up harder for young people. POTUS is focused on keeping schools open and supporting students' mental health, the White House tweeted. Yeah, well, I mean, the Democrats weren't focused on kids' mental health and keeping schools open throughout this whole pandemic, right? That's the last thing they've been focused on. Now, all of a sudden, that's what they're focused on, okay? But yeah, the left, once again, is freaking out about Ron DeSantis and the Republican legislator in Florida coming up with some common sense bills. Right, which again is not really banning them from teaching about queer history or whatever, right, or students having certain discussions. Is basically trying to discourage teachers from again pushing this ideology down kids' throats, right? Having discussions that don't necessarily correlate to students learning how to read, write, do math, right? Learning, history and things of that nature, right? That's what's going on here. Okay, and of course, Democrats get outraged about it and claim all types of things like, oh, they're trying to kill kids and all types of crazy silliness, right? But anyways, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.